Dame team, who I'd like to congratulate on the great season that they had. Got some really, really good players, and they've played well as a team all year long. Um, and when you play this time of the year, you always expect to play against really good opponents. And we've been in the playoffs before, and we're certainly honored to be back there again this year.
Thank you, Coach. To ask a question, please raise your hand using the raise hand icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Once your question is selected, please unmute yourself and say your name and media outlet. Our first question comes from Michael Casagrande.
Yeah, Nick, Michael from AL.com. Just wondering if you had a preference on which semifinal Alabama played in, and were you surprised at all that you guys were going to be playing in the Rose Bowl?
We had no preference. We're just happy to be in the game. We knew that we'd be playing against a very good team wherever. I think both venues are outstanding venues, and it'll be, a great experience for our players. So we had no preference at all.
Our next question comes from Ryan Hennessy.
Hey, Coach, I heard you talking on ESPN earlier, and I thought it was interesting. This holiday season, you're kind of preparing like it's a bye week. Kind of talk about that a little bit and how important it is to kind of prepare, because usually you guys have more time to prepare for a playoff game.
Well, I think this whole season has been a little bit unique and abnormal in a lot of different ways. So we know exactly what the circumstance is. So we try to plan the best we can to get our players prepared the best we can so that they can, play up to their capabilities in this game. And there's an adequate amount of time to do that. We don't have the long break like we usually do, but which obviously helps you get healthy with some of the players that, have issues at this time of the season, which, football players, always do. But we're going to try to use this week to get those guys ready to go, and use this week as a little bit of preparation, give our players a few days, 3 days off, and come back and have a pretty normal week. So in some ways, the rhythm of the season is more connected this year than it is when you have that 3 or 4 week break, which is a hard management as well.
Okay, our next question comes from Stephen Dial.
Coach, I know this game is just another business trip, and the focus is making it to the national championship. With the game being in Arlington at AT&T Stadium with more fans, I mean, does that mean anything for you or the players to be able to have more family and fans in the stadium versus playing at a venue that had fewer seats?
Well, I don't think there's any question about the fact that it is an advantage for our fans. It's an advantage for the families of our team that they have the opportunity to go see the game. And, this is a great venue that we're playing in, and we're certainly pleased and happy that we're involved. And, we're happy for our fans that they're going to have a chance, or at least some opportunity to see the game.
Our next question comes from Mike Rodak.
Nick, it's Mike Rodak with AL.com. Just where do things stand with Landon after his scans this morning? And just what did you see out of Chris Owens when he was in the game yesterday, as well as in previous games as well?
Well, Chris Owens has played a lot of football for us. He's an experienced player. We have a lot of confidence in him. He's played multiple positions. He's always been the backup center, as well as playing right tackle, left tackle, filling in for whoever has not been in there. Landon is a hard guy to replace because of his leadership, his personality. He's very inspirational in a lot of ways to all of his teammates. So I don't know that you replace a guy like that, but we have a lot of confidence in Chris Owens.
Okay, our next question comes from Ron Wallace.
Congratulations, Coach. This is Ron Wallace with Ballin' Down South. Congratulations on the win on yesterday and getting back to the college playoff. Najee Harris and a lot of you guys, they had awesome games last night. What do you contribute that to, and how will you think that will carry over into the playoffs?
Well, those guys have been outstanding players for us all year long. I think Mac played really well in the game. Najee had a record-setting game of sorts, and so did Smitty. All those guys have been a critical piece of the success of our offense, but I also think that everybody on offense contributes in a positive way so that those guys can make plays. And I think they would be the first one to tell you how important that togetherness and that teamwork is on offense. So, you know, these guys have played well all year long, and it's going to be important that they make a significant contribution in the game that we have, coming up in Dallas.
Okay, our next question comes from Eric Hansen.
Hi, Coach. Notre Dame fans remember the 2012 game well, and they know that Alabama's been a pretty elite program since then. But with football changing so much, how has your program changed since 2012? What kind of been your emphasis that's changed with your teams and how you build them?
I think the basic fundamental culture that we try to create in our program is not really changed that much in terms of helping players be more successful in life or having been in the program, whether it's personal development, academic support, career development, development as football players. But how we play on the field, we've probably changed as the game has changed. Play a little different style on offense. We were more run the ball, play action pass, NFL type offense, probably back in the 2012 days. Than we are right now, more sort of NFL style, but also incorporated a lot of the spread concepts of RPOs and those types of things. So we've kind of evolved a little bit as the game has evolved on the field, but the culture of the program really hasn't changed.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Last question will come from Max Cohan.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So Max Cohan from Way 31 News. Your guys' offense this year has scored more than 50 points 6 times this season. You got 3 guys on the offense who are potential Heisman candidates. When you look at this team, how does the offense compare to years past, and what is your level of confidence in this offense?
Well, we're confident in our players, and we've certainly been very productive on offense. And I don't like to make comparisons. We've had some good offensive teams here in the past. That last year's team had similar numbers. The year before that, similar numbers. So this has been an unusual year for a lot of teams. So maybe that contributes to it to some degree. But I also think our players have contributed to their consistency and performance by staying focused on the right things amid a lot of abnormal things. So got to give them a lot of credit for their resiliency and their ability to overcome adversity and maintain consistency in what has been a year full of disruptions.
Thank you for